guys can, just give me like a quick minute. Okay, sorry about that. Alright, everything currently sounds good. Let's go. How's the camera doing? Whoops. Okay. Probably bring it a little bit closer. Okay. Alright, so it's been a hot minute. But yeah, no, I had a friend who's a very big friend of the Blue Eyes White Dragon who has no experience with model kits. So I told him this was a thing. He wanted to pick it up. And so he asked me to build it and then also requested that I build it on stream. So that's gonna be something. And because this is something I'm doing for a friend, I'm gonna, pull out some more of this stops. Alright. Let's see. Drink check. Posture check. Alright. So far, so good. We'll probably need some BGM. And that level-wise looks pretty good. Yeah, alright. Okay, so right here, this box is a bit of a chonker. I can't even raise it without it bumping into my phone, but it has for example, right here I have the box for the gun Volva, and it's more or less the same dimensions as an HG. It's a little bit wider, right? But it's way deeper. Yeah, it's way deeper. It's almost like 2 or 3 Witch for Mercury high grades just kind of stacked together. So this will be probably one of the larger kits that I'll have built in a hot minute, other than the Providel. Alright. Okay. Yeah. So I remember seeing some builds for this kit already. And I know that these wings tend to come apart. And I already got permission from my friend to seal some of those seam lines up to kind of make sure that it stays together as appropriately. Purple tongues. Interesting. But yeah, there is quite a bit in here. And I think most of this clear stuff is the actual stand, so I can set that aside. Oh yeah, and then here's the wings. Okay. Yeah. So I'm excited to put this thing together. And while I do that, I'll probably just do a little update on how things are going on my end and whatnot. Just gonna reposition the phone a bit. Okay. Alright. Okay. Everything being more or less the same color is gonna be really rough on my ability to identify those runners a lot faster. Okay. But yeah, so because I'm doing this for a friend, gonna do the two-snip method, and I have different grits of sanding sponges and sanding sticks. That way I don't... Gonna do my best not to, like, scuff it up. I have extra thin Tamiya cement and not so thin Tamiya cement. So I'm gonna try to see if I can make this as good of a straight build as I can. Okay. With that said, I'm gonna lock that. Okay. But yeah. As some of you may know, I've kind of like took a step back from streaming. Part of it was just like a little bit of just like hobby burnout. I have a really bad habit of like hyperfixating on a new hobby, getting really into it, and then burning out. And it happens in like cycles where like I'll eventually come back to it anyways. Oh shoot. Yo, thanks for stopping by. Yep. Okay. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Omar. Okay. Just gotta move some stuff around real quick. Okay. Alright, let's see. A12 and 4. 12. Okay. Okay. But yeah, I've spent some time just kind of working my job, trying to get into a better position than the one I'm at. And that requires me taking a test that I'm going to need to take for a third time because I was just short of the requirements to pass it. So it's just a matter of me shelling out some more money to take a test to get a certificate for what I already have a degree in. That, and like, it's becoming more and more apparent to me that, oh shit, that's not good. Alright. That I keep starting projects, right? I get an idea and then I'll like just run with it, and I'll run, but I'll never finish that race for that idea. And by race, I don't mean like I gotta do it before someone else does it, but like I'll just never finish the idea. Right? I'll never bring it to like a finished product. And that's why I like model kits, because it's just something I could sit down, something that I'll want to do, something that has a very objective, to some degree, finish to it. Oh, that's really not good. I'm gonna need to be more careful with my god hand, because I think I just bent the blade. Hopefully that's not going to be too much of an issue going down forward. It's already not a good sign, but I've had worse happen to me in the middle of projects. Okay. Oh, what? Stream buffered for like a very small second there. But yeah, it's... And I don't know. I'm just faced with the realization that there are a lot of ideas that I have, that there are a lot of projects that I want to do, but I just don't have the time to do them between, you know, just having like a normal job that I work. Okay. Like, one of the projects that I announced was that I was going to work on a I was going to work on a survival horror themed system for like tabletop role-playing games, right? And I have the idea, I have a name for it, and I feel good about what I have so far. I just need to make a video for it. That way I could, you know, document the process that I'm going through while I, you know, work on this project. Because that was the whole point. It was to show, like, my thought process and the steps that I took and the decisions that I've made. Oh, hello? Yo, Dumpling! What's up? Glad to see you stop by. Okay. But yeah, it's... Oh, I need to work on that. Tongue. Okay. 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 Yeah, so, like, that's the thing. I do have, like, aspects of the system made, and it's one of those things where, like, I had the idea, and then, like... Yo, cool. Go ahead and, send me the thumbnail review, and I'll see if I can, get you, that reimbursement. Because, Ko-Fi was being weird last night when I tried to send it earlier. Okay. And this might be a two-parter anyways, so it just really depends on, like, how this goes. But yeah. Yeah, that system, I have ideas for it. I have a title. I just need to, like, go ahead and make a document and then, like, turn that into a video. H. Oh, God. Alright, so these are the B's. Is the clear plastic H? No, that's G. Wait, what? Why does the blue eyes have... Wait, no, it has a bending tail, that's why it has polycaps. Alright. Okay, it said H1. Got it. Okay. Okay. And then that's really not good. So because of how that blade on my nipper like veered off center, a normal cut caused this to happen. Let's see if I can get it. Like, it diverged, so now it cut into the little peg. Now, that's probably not going to be a problem for this specific part. I can just kind of do that to it. But, like, the fact that blade got bent that way might come up again. Okay. I'm gonna have to just be careful. What the heck? Okay, I'm gonna need a 9 and 8. That's gonna make cutting flush quite a problem, now that I think about it. Okay. Then A2, which is this piece right here. But yeah, some other projects that I'm working on are like some little story things, because I just want to improve my quality of writing. And writing, like many other art forms, if you are so inclined to relate them, because I do believe that writing is its own form of art, straight up just like needs practice to just develop and become something that you can, like, develops into your ability to tell a story that you can be the only one to tell in that certain way. If that makes sense. Right? Because, like, someone could write the exact same story as, like, for example, The Hobbit, right? If they wrote the exact same story, it's still not the same. Despite it having all of the similarities, maybe similar story beats and all that. It was like H.R. It was like, what? H.R. Tolkien was his name? It was Tolkien's method of writing that made it stand out. Yeah. And because I've been, like, focusing a lot on, like, horror lately, I've just seen a lot of like really fun horror documentaries and a lot of like older horror games, right? Um, Thinking like classic Silent Hill, Haunting Grounds, the older Clock Tower, right? Where you were in positions of like being stalked by an enemy that you couldn't necessarily deal with in a permanent manner, right? Like you can't just shoot the thing and solve that issue. Okay, so it won't sit like that. Right? Should be something like this. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. And then 4. Okay. Okay. So like one of the things that like to answer your question, Omar, one of the things that I really like about the horror genre, like just in and of itself, right? What grabs my attention, and this kind of goes back to writing, is that like other genres feel that like it's taboo to talk about certain subject matter that are just, you know, things that can be traumatic, things that are maybe considered taboo, right? Things that like are objectively horrible things that can happen to normal and good people. They, outside of horror, it's hard to tackle those situations with tact. And even in horror situations, it's still hard. But like the ability to tackle some of those issues in a way that feels like genuine because the characters feel real is just very impressive in my opinion. Because we could talk about like Silent Hill 2, right? Silent Hill 2 has an ending called In Water, in which spoilers, like major spoilers for 2, because this is the last ending you can get, if I remember correctly, or at least it's one of the harder ones to get. The In Water ending tackles the idea of suicide in a bit of a tactful way, because it has to do with the main character receiving a letter from his dead wife, and he drives himself into the lake to just drown because he's racked with guilt over betraying her, and at the same time like racked with guilt over betraying her, racked with guilt over not giving her as much attention, because when she was like put in medical, the idea of having to spend his time in the hospital to take care of her, just, that was a commitment, and he wasn't sure if he was able to do it, and that was like part of his own like not grievances, but like that's where he could have been a more supporting and like a better husband, and he didn't do that. And even then, the letter that he receives from his wife is like her apologizing for getting sick, because things could have gone way better if it weren't for that situation that they were in. So like that's a subject matter that's really hard to tackle, and yet they do it in such a real, genuine way that's heartfelt and doesn't come short. And then you have like other games that try to have and those like same kind of subject matter. Um there's heavily implied sexual assault in Silent Hill 2 between I can't remember her name, but one of the first characters you meet upon entering Silent Hill in Silent Hill 2 is this girl in a cemetery. And it's heavily implied through like her story that, you know, she was sexually assaulted by her like father and stuff. In fact, like the boss monster that you had to fight in one of the dungeons that's supposed to be like indicative of it being her monster is like a writhing bed, right? And you can only assume what that means. And that's a tactful way of doing it, right? It's a very interesting way to take a horrible event that someone has gone through and contextualize it in a way that doesn't come off as strictly awful. And then you have games like Dead Island 1, where there's just a really bad scene that's very poorly done to kind of like add like weight to a situation about a woman being taken advantage of, and then they just kind of hand wave it away afterwards as if it had no real actual impact on the rest of the game and story. And you're like, oh god. So that's what bad like representation of that can look like. It's rough. But yeah, to just circle back around to answer your question, like one of the most interesting things of horror is its ability to tackle subject matter that would normally be taboo or is avoided in other genres because it can't be done in a like respectable and tactful way. I had like a couple of other examples in my mind that I just can't think of right now at the moment. But like Silent Hill did it. There's a game called Rule of Rose. Rule of Rose is a very interesting take on contextualizing childhood trauma. But Rule of Rose is just a really hard game to get your hands on, and has essentially just became a game that you have to emulate. Ugh. I need to get my hands on some like more normal nippers, because I do not want to use those god hands on any harder plastics after this. Oh, this just kind of pops in like that. That's nice. Okay. But yeah, because I've been seeing a lot of like essays for games like Haunting Ground. Silent Hill's just always been like a game that I've been seeing like documentaries on, and that's been fun. But because I've been seeing those like Clock Tower, Haunting Grounds, other like essays breaking down like all of the symbolism, breaking down like all of the thought and care that went into crafting the stories for those games, the symbolism and all that. It's been making me want to give it a try. And granted, like, I'm not an experienced writer. I am fully capable of messing up royally and representing a idea in the wrong way. And that is very much something that you want to avoid. Because you don't want to make light of a very traumatic and very real problem that people face. So is it like... How does this... Okay. Okay. Maybe I have it upside down. There we go. That was a bit rough to pop in. I need to give Death Stranding a genuine shot. There's a lot of memes about that game that kind of pushed me away for a bit, but I do need to give that game a genuine shot. Hideo Kojima is a absolute madman in his like writing and all that, and Death Stranding is a very unfiltered experience of Hideo Kojima. It's just like one of the content creators or a group of content creators that I follow. Um, they've done a big breakdown on it, and a lot of memes have kind of cropped up. Like, did you know the S in Stranding stands for Strand? Because Hojima loves his like acronyms having like meaning. He loves symbolism. And so like there's gonna be a lot of that stuff in that game. So like I need to go in, and especially because there's already like a Death Stranding 2 that we already know exists and will eventually come out. So like at some point I'm gonna need to look at it. You know what? Like this summer, like I do plan on going back to like streaming a bit more because I'll just have more time to do that stuff. And so like probably during then, I could probably see if I could pick up Death Stranding on a sale or something. And if that happens, I'll definitely like stream at least part of it, because I know that game is very time consuming and has a lot going on with it. So I don't know how long like streaming that one game would take to complete. Like I would probably have to like marathon it like multiple days a week to just get through it. And I'm not even sure if I would be the biggest fan of that game and how that game plays. Alright, yo, this head sculpt is coming together. Yeah, I'll think about checking it out. Because, like, Hideo Kojima has, like, some other, like, projects that he's working on that I also really want to get around to. I forget the names of them, but, like, one of them is, like, his attempt at making his own Silent Hill, if I remember correctly. I forgot the name of that project. But he announced that, like, side by side with, like, Death Stranding 2. Which has me a little bit worried. Because he would have to already have, like, a lot of, like, ideas written out for both games if he wants both of those games to, like, be his vision. Unless he's just, like, a really insane mad lad who's really good at, like, pacing his, like, actual just writing. I don't mean, like, the pacing of the writing of his stories, but, like, just being able to churn out so much in just a brief amount of time. Unless, like, both of these have been, like, passion projects he's been working on for, like, God knows how long. Because we don't know how much more Hideo Kojima had for Death Stranding after, you know, what we were shown of Death Stranding. If that makes sense. Because there's a very realistic chance that, like, Death Stranding was, like, only, like, you know, like, not even 50% of his original plan. So, like, the other 50% is what we'll be seeing in, like, Death Stranding 2. So, like, he would have already have had everything written out for it. Or if it's more akin to, like, he had, like, 60% of Death Stranding written out. And so he started on the other 40% for Death Stranding 2. And then started, like, having everything that he wrote in the background for Silent Hill be converted into what he's working on for that other horror game. All I know is I'm still keeping an eye out for Slitterhead. Even if that even I was expecting that game to just be a bit more like more horror and more survival, but it's apparently an action game based on some of the other stuff that I'm seeing. So I don't know how that's gonna turn out, but I'll say hopefully optimistic about it and not pre-order it. Because I need to get smarter with my pre-orders, just in general. And it's not even about like, oh, I pre-ordered something and I regretted it. It's more like the horror stories are just reminding me that there is a chance that something I personally want to be real could just not hold up. And while I may want to support it, I need to be like more careful with how I support games. Because I have supported games that I just don't play. And I still like those games, and I still think they're great, and I still think they should exist. But that's a hole in my wallet afterwards for a game that I'm supporting on the principle of I like the idea of it, and I'm still not playing it. Okay, so for those ones, they're gonna need G, which I think is the clear. Yeah. I don't. So, because of like branding, intelligent IPs and stuff like that, I don't think Hideo Kojima can make a continuation of Silent Hills without like buying the intellectual property of it. And while he would be like probably the best person to own the intellectual property of Silent Hill, there's no way that's gonna happen because Capcom really likes to puppet the corpse. Okay, G11. 8, 9. Okay. Like, we had... Yeah, sorry. So, yeah, it's Co-Money, not Capcom. I was thinking Silent Hill. Not Silent Hill, Resident Evil is Capcom. Silent Hill is Konami. Thank you for the correction, Zarkin. And thank you for stopping by. And it doesn't help that Konami already is putting out a remake of Silent Hill 2, and I am not excited. There's a lot of very particular details about the writing of Silent Hill 2 that I just don't think the modern writers can... I don't think modern writers can capture. And by modern writers, like, I don't mean that, like, we will never get a story as deep and impactful as Silent Hill 2 ever again. But a lot of people who would write those kinds of stories aren't the people who are being paid to write those kinds of stories. So far so good. You missed out on me making a mistake, and let's see if I can pick this up on the camera. Might be a bit hard. because like I can't get. Hold on. Let's see if I hold it out here. Trying to capture it. I actually bent the blade on my God Hand Nipper. It's very unfortunate. Kind of cursed, actually. It doesn't seem too bad for now. All I know is this is peak Blue Eyes spiting me after years of me talking shit about that deck in the card game, and me still to this day genuinely not liking the archetype. Kind of like a go figure moment. And I would like for my God Hands to last me a little bit longer before I replace these ones. If anything, I probably just need to get my hands on like a normal pair of nippers. Because I haven't had one of those in a while, and I don't know where they went. There's a really good chance that they're just in, like, a random model kit box that I just haven't opened in, like, a very long time. Yeah, worst case, it's like a $10 thing, and it'll give me an excuse to order from New Type HQ again. Not sponsored, by the way. I really like their service. I'm not a fan of certain things, but like they probably made those decisions because of financial reasons. But my only real criticism about New Type is that they have these stickers that is like the New Type logo like parodying other intellectual properties. Hold on. I still have one that I haven't used that I keep around because I really like it. Like this right here. This sticker. I love this sticker so much. I love it when New Type does these. Right? But for a while now, I've been making like orders from New Type and they haven't been adding these in to my orders. Right? Now, again, my friend ordered this kit and they had it sent to me so I could build it for this stream that we're doing right now. It came with a New Type sticker for my friend's package. I've made another order through them kind of like immediately after, and that package meant for me didn't come with one of those stickers. So I feel targeted. Jokingly, of course. Jokingly. I love their service. I have some paints coming in through their service, and I'm looking really forward to start working with Tamiya paints as just like something to compare to Vallejo, because I'm really used to Vallejo right now. And yeah, we have the head done. The head is quite like, you have the mouth, the tongue is articulated because why not? Man, dude, like, another thing I've been meaning to do is, like, I do want to, like, get on New Type's radar. Because I really like their service. It's so nice, and I prefer it more than some other services that I've tried in the past. But that would require me, like, actually, like, taking pictures of some of the work that I've done. And once I finish, because, like, I have a model kit that I'm close to being done painting, that I've, like, slightly modified. And once that's done, I'm going to take pictures and post it on the New Type website. And I'm going to see if I can get on their radar that way, because, again, I love their service so much. I just wish that they'd send me more of their stickers, because I really like their stickers. They're really fun. Maybe one of these days they'll send me the high-grade spoon model kit. Okay. Oh, from the head... Oh, this is the neck, not the tail. Oh, wild. Okay. Uh-oh. Wait, hold on. Does my... That's inch. That's centimeter. Right? That's centimeter. Oh, God. Oh no. Oh, no. Am I gonna have to measure... Okay, they... Okay. Wait, is that folded or unfolded? Oh, no. Oh, no, measurements. I was not ready for this. Okay. Ooh. This is a lot of wire. And I expected it for, like, the tail. I forgot about the neck. So this is gonna be something. Or this is H, right? They want H3. Oh wait, now that I look at this is very, like, vaguely similar to the neck for the Buku hounds. Right? The Buku hound, the Lagao, and the Kerberos. It's vaguely similar in design idea. That's neat that I can identify that. Okay, and then A18. Okay. But yeah, going back to like the topic of horror real quick. Like there's been a lot of good horror games, a lot of good ones, and there's been a lot of bad ones. And a lot of it just comes from like the heart and mind of where the writer is coming from and what they want to like convey. It's part of why like probably the most modern horror title that I've loved was Lost in Vivo, despite it being like a bit more of like an indie game, right? Because that's some genuine ass like claustrophobia that they're depicting in quite a few of the games, like level design. The idea of like having to look for, you know, your dog because it got thrown into the sewers, and that whole grand adventure as you also start to like discover things about like other mental patients, and that whole story is fantastic in my opinion. It's very well done, which is also why I liked their other works, right? It's why I was like such a big advocate of the game not Lost in Vivo. Well, yes, Lost in Vivo, and as well as what was it called? Lunacid. One of these days, I want to go back and play more Lunacid just as like a comfort game, because that game is freaking rad. Michigan Report from Hell. It still blows my mind that that's a Grasshopper Studio game. Grasshopper Studio being like No More Heroes, right? Because No More Heroes is a fantastic game series. That I still want to like actually play and properly beat. Okay. Wait, so okay, hold on. I'm gonna do a quick Google search because I am I am fearful of messing this up. Rise, Blue Eyes, Wire Cut. Oh, I'm sure someone. Oh god, oh no, I might be the only one with a mental disconnect here. Uh... Okay, hold on. Okay, that's the head. Okay, how did this person do the wires? Oh my god, it's that easy. I'm so upset with myself. Thank you, Toy. Shoutouts to Toyaholic for showing their speed build. Oh my lord. Okay, so it is as simple as just measuring out like so. Okay. I wasn't sure if you had to double it over or something. And yes, Reckon, you do need to finish Lost in Vivo. I genuinely recommend it as a genuinely good game. Not just because I'm... Okay. Shilling the game maker because I think that they're a fantastic, like, just game designer. Because they are someone who worked on, or are behind, oh god, what is it? Spooky's Jump Scare Manor. Which is something I also need to take a look at in greater depth than I did when I was in high school. I think I was in high school at the time. I could be wrong. Because my time in high school sometimes bleeds over with my time in... my time in high school bleeds over with my time in university. Wait, what the? Oh, wait, hold on. Okay. Alright, no, this is like the back. I think I get it now. Okay. So, 19 and 16. 19, 16, 9. Okay. Okay, so yeah, before I got sidetracked, Michigan Report from Hell, there's that term that people like to describe movie as like B horror, and Michigan Report from Hell is very much that. And that's not a bad thing. Because sometimes B horror is like done accidentally, sometimes it's like aware. And this one, I can't tell if it was aware or not. 1916. Okay. But yeah, that game was done by Grasshopper Studios, which are the people behind No More Heroes. Albeit the writer of No More Heroes, I believe he's Suda51. Because I get Suda51 and Swery mixed up often, and I think Swery's the guy behind Deadly Premonition, which I still have the collector's edition for the Switch, because that is also another B horror series that's very fun, even if it might have had some controversial writing stuff in Deadly Premonition 2. Oh, that's some undergating. Oh, that's nice. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna need to sand this down. That's gonna drive me insane. Okay. 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 But in terms of projects, I do want to go back. I need to start just writing things up for like the tabletop system that I'm making. I have a good like grasp on how I want the inventory of that game to work. But this is like one of the problems that I have with like working on my projects, in that like I'm not sure if the term is overly ambitious, but the scope keeps growing, right? So at first I wanted to just make a inventory resource driven like survival horror inspired like system, right? Where like a lot of the tension of encounters comes from like what's in your inventory and whether or not you're prepared, or how you can role play the use of your resources to match an encounter, to deal with a threat, to get through an obstacle, even if things appear to be against the odds, right? And having a little bit of a immersive sim kind of like element to it. So how do they want to do these? Like so. Okay, one. Did I not? I didn't clean this part up. But by like what I mean by the expansion of scope. Sorry. Keep getting distracted from my train of thought. So like again, like I wanted this to be like the idea was I wanted the system to be simple, quick, snappy, where like there aren't too many factors that go into your decision making, because like for some people the worst part of D&D is the combat. Oh, yo, sup, lol. Thank you for stopping by. But yeah, so like part of D&D, like the dice rolling and all that, people like the dice rolling, but like the actual like actions of your character, right? And like all the stuff that you have to remember going into it, some people don't like that aspect, and that's where like they get lost on D&D. So I wanted to have like combat be a bit more simplified, in the scope of like what you need to keep track of, right? There's what's in your inventory, and that's like the main aspect of what you need to worry about. There's no like there's no damage scalings, there's nothing like complex. You know, that was my idea for like how I wanted to do the combat. And again, like the how tense an encounter is how prepared the players are for the encounter in regard to what they have in their inventory, which, you know, may or may not work. Again, like a lot of this is just like experimental thought stuff, and there will be room for like, you know, things to change and whatnot, and that'll be part of like how I tackle it, right? But then like from that point I got the idea of like, well, what if I made cards, right? If I made cards that represented items, then players wouldn't have to keep track because they could just always refer to the cards, right? So if a character was equipped with a let's say a shotgun, right? Because, you know, survival horror, people love their shotguns. If that were the case, then they could just reference the shotgun card if they need to make an attack with the shotgun, if they have one, you know. But now that's a new layer of like, well, I need to design the cards, and I have an idea for the cards, and I picked up a program on Steam, which I currently don't have open. Maybe for the best, but I'll open up Steam just in case to like try to get the name of it. I think it's just called like Card Maker. like it's just a software that you could use to make cards, right? And I picked it up because, you know, I want to make a TCG at some point, or maybe not, you know, an actual TCG, but like just a card game that you could play digitally. So like a DCG, and anyways. So I have that thing. I'm like, oh, I could use that to make the like item cards, right? And then I can have cards that, you know, are the items, and you could always refer to those instead of having to like whip out a book, right? Or like diving into a wiki. Like these cards would just be something accessible if you were playing on like something like tabletop or whatever. So that created a whole new layer of like things I would have to do for this tabletop game that was supposed to be like a simple survival horror themed inventory management style of like role-playing system. Oh, okay. The program in Steam is just called Card Creator, and so far it's pretty good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But like, because it's inventory based, I was thinking of having something like what was it called? Like Resident Evil 4 style inventory management, where like you have like not item slots, but like you have a grid that you have to fit all your items on, and that grid changes depending on like what your character has, right? So you could have like an L-shaped grid, and that's like 3 just boxes, and that's representative of like your pants pocket, right? Maybe you have um like two boxes up and down on top of each other, and that's your shirt pocket, you know? So like there might be stuff there. So like I would need like item cards to have name of item, picture item, description of what item does, right? Maybe I could put like a little damage symbol on like how much damage the weapon does. That way, you know, you don't have to worry about like rolling damage or damage scaling stuff. Like everything could be fixed, maybe. And this is all just me brainstorming on stream or regurgitating things that I've already thought about. Like me talking about damage numbers on weapons, I was initially thinking about having that be related to stats, but like if damage is fixed, then I can keep like number pools small. So it's finally happened. All right. You hate to see it. You really hate to see it. Yeah. Oh, my heart. So, my nippers just broke. Oh. This is truly a cursed build. Alright. So, I currently don't have another pair of nippers I can dig out. So I probably have to call the stream here and maybe do like another 1 or 2 streams afterwards. I I need to get a new pair of nippers. Oh boy. Well, I'll be sure to give these god hands a respectful burial in a sense. So oh, that is a $60 nipper that I just broke. That does not feel great. Well, with that, thank you all for stopping by. I'm sorry for the abrupt end. But yeah, no, I'll see you guys next time, right? Things like this happen. I just got to get my hands on like some like $10 nippers from like Amazon and I'll be back at it. All right.